Hey, I am 1 in 5 women who suffered from a perinatal mood disorder. And this is my story. My name is Danielle Kottis, and I suffered, recovered, and am now thriving from postpartum depression and anxiety. So, where to start, I don't know. I'm a little nervous sharing my story, but my hope is that it brings awareness to all of you who don't know what a perinatal mood disorder is, or postpartum depression, anxiety, PTSD, OCD, that you have a glimpse of what it looks like on the other side, and that this is a really real thing that's happening, that there are thousands, millions of moms out there suffering right now, and the rest of the world has no clue. So hopefully this will bring awareness to you that don't know what it's like, and hopefully it will help heal you who are suffering right now through my story. So I'm going to try to make this very long story short as possible. And so I guess that it all really started the day that I became pregnant, and probably much farther before that. But the day I became pregnant, I took a million pregnancy tests just to make sure that I was pregnant. And my husband was so excited. And I kind of just sat there on the toilet like, okay, here we are, we're pregnant. So that probably should have been my first indication that something was probably off on what was about to happen and what was going to unfold. And as my pregnancy unfolded, I chalked up a lot of what happened to my hormones. And for those of you who are doing that, a lot of it does not have to do with hormones. It has to do with anxiety and depression. But you will see as my story unfolds that, you know, one thing built off another thing that built off another thing, and it kind of landed me where I was postpartum depression and anxiety. But basically, a lot of the time that I was pregnant, I spent worrying about my future. As a lot of you know some of my story, that I was in between jobs at the time, trying to go back to school, trying to get a master's, trying to get into a program, and it was at a job that I didn't like and wasn't making a lot of money at. And a lot of my concern was, how am I going to be able to, go to school? How am I going to be able to get a job? How am I going to be able to make the money I want? How am I going to be able to do all of this with a baby? Like, how am I going to be able to do homework? So that kind of brought a lot of stuff up. And then out of nowhere came these feelings of, am I going to be a bad mom? Like, what? Who thinks that? Well, they're pregnant. Me, lots of women, some of you listening right now. Am I going to be this bad mom? Like, I don't think I'll be able to handle this. Like, if I can't even handle my life right now, if I'm not even in this great place that I want to be in right now, if I'm not in this like awesome space, how the heck am I going to be able to take care of a child? I can't even take care of myself. How am I going to do this? My life is not together. This is not the right time. And as my pregnancy went on, I just kept thinking this was a horrible time to be pregnant. Like, why did I do this? Like, I can't go back on this decision. Like, this is in my face. Like, how am I ever going to do anything ever again? Like, it just felt like I couldn't take care of myself. How was I going to take care of this kid? And how was I going to be a good mom of it if I couldn't even take care of myself? And then a lot of emotions of like all the stuff I did in my past started coming up, kind of like, I'm not this great person that I think I am. I made a lot of mistakes. What happens if my child makes the same mistakes? How am I going to handle this? So throughout my pregnancy was all of this like inner turmoil, just like, am I going to be a good mom? How am I going to be able to do anything in my life again? Am I going to be able to, provide for my child since I'm not at the financial place that I want to be? Am I going to be stuck at home? Oh my God, God forbid I get stuck at home, which you will find out I did. God forbid I get stuck at home and I can't do anything ever again. I can't handle that. I can't handle that. And then as I started to, read more about pregnancy, learn more about postpartum, your journey and stuff like that, I started to actually get extremely overwhelmed with the fact that I would not be able to breastfeed, that I would not be able to bond, that somehow I was going to end up with this postpartum depression anxiety, which I didn't even know what that was. I just read about it. And it overwhelmed me so much that there were days I came home from work and just broke down. I mean, lost it. Just started hysterical crying about how am I going to do this, hon? I'm not a good mom. Like, I'm not going to be able to breastfeed. Like, I don't know how to take care of a child. I've never even held an infant before. Like, how the hell am I going to do this? And of course, my husband would pick me off the floor and try to, console me and help me, make me feel better. And every day it was this feeling like, this isn't going to end well. This isn't going to end well. I'm just going to be this mess. Like, I can't do this. So for 9 months, I spent worrying about my future, worried about what was going to happen, depressed and anxious every single day, cried or had like mini panic attacks. There were times where I, again, came home from work and just had this intense panic attack where my like heart was beating like 1,000,000 miles a minute and I couldn't breathe. And I was like, "Hon, I think I'm having a heart attack. I think I have to go to the hospital. I think," and he's like, you're fine. Everything's gonna be fine. It's just your pregnancy hormones. I'm like, no, something is very wrong. Something is very wrong. It was almost like I just couldn't handle the pressure, right? Nothing even happened yet. There was no child. This is the easy part. There was no child. And I was fucking panicking. I'm not going to breastfeed. I'm not going to bond. I'm going to be a bad mom. It's all going to be screwed up. My kid's going to grow up and he's going to be on drugs and he's going to commit suicide and I'm going to be the worst parent of the face of the planet. All this and the kid's not even out yet. So imagine feeling this way while I was pregnant. And I'm sure some of you can kind of relate to this. That this panic sets in, this depression, like I'll never do anything ever again sets in. And then it overwhelms you. It's almost like that's all you can think about. And of course you're concerned about, what to get the baby, the clothes and stuff like that. So there was happy times. Don't get me wrong. There was very happy times of me thinking that, oh, this is gonna be wonderful. My child's gonna be this wonderful person. Like, I hope it's a boy. Like, I love boys. And there were wonderful parts of my pregnancy, but I'd say about 80% of it was fucking miserable. And then what had happened was we get to the hospital. I had a weird labor and delivery, and for some of you out there, you probably had a really traumatic experience. Thank God mine was not very traumatic. So for those of you who are, that's another risk factor for postpartum depression, anxiety, and perinatal mood disorders. So all of these things leading up to here, I just want to let you know were risk factors that I should have been aware of, that I was not educated or taught or told that these were risk factors for perinatal mood disorders. Having a panic attacks, crying uncontrollably. These are not hormonal things. This is like legit. You're having a panic attack, you're having depression episodes, and it's almost like a mood swing, right? So I was told these things. Being not in a good financial spot, in your brain. Maybe you are a family, but in your brain, in your state in life, you're not in a good spot. I was in between jobs, another risk factor, not having like a career to go back to, right? I had nothing to go back to there. Another freaking risk factor. Another one is if you have problems in your relationship, which thank God I didn't, but if you did, that's another risk factor of a perinatal mood disorder. So there's a lot. And before I go into my postpartum journey, one more risk factor, obviously, is social and economic status. So low income, but a lot of women don't realize that if you're a type A person, that is a huge risk factor. So if you are the type of person that is like a perfectionist, likes to organize, is always trying to get ahead, procrastinates a lot, has a million to-do lists, reads Maria Kondo and organizes the whole freaking house, you're a type A. And that's a humongous risk factor. That's actually worse than somebody who's in low income. So things like me, what I'm talking about is type A, and thus I had like probably 6 or 7 risk factors right off the bat that I didn't know about, that I could have gotten help earlier and didn't, and that it led, risk factors basically lead you to having postpartum depression. It's not my fault. It's not your fault either if you have this perinatal mood disorder. It's not your fault. It's just you had so many risk factors that you didn't know about that basically inevitably tells you this is what's going to happen to you. But no one fucking tells you. Why don't they tell you? I have no idea. So really, you should realize that if you have this is not your fault. There's just so many stressors that were going on, so many risk factors that happened that you weren't aware of and you didn't know how to fix. And that's why you ended up where you are right now. So remember, this is not your fault. So I had a weird labor and delivery. Again, it wasn't traumatic, so thank God. But I remember sitting in the hospital and I get my baby and I'm like, okay, what do I do with this thing? So the woman puts him on my boob. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I got the hang of this, right? We go into the labor and delivery room and they put him in the like bassinet thing. And my husband's like, are you going to pick up your son? And I'm like, I don't know how. I don't know how to do this. First thing, that's another kind of like risk factor, like, not being comfortable with another child or baby or something like that. I wasn't comfortable. I was like, how the frick what am I going to do? I don't know how to do this thing. I know it sounds silly now, but like at the time I was like in a panic. I'm like, what? It's so small. It's like this big. Like what person knows how to handle a human that's that small? I don't. And here comes the nurse, like, whips the baby up like it's a fucking lamb and like puts the diaper on or like whatever it did and then shoves it on my boob. And I'm like, oh, why did she make that look so easy? So, I went through this cluster feeding thing, trying to get my milk to come in. Obviously it didn't come in. And that was another thing. And I really wasn't feeding him every 2 hours because what mother knows how to breastfeed? No mother knows how to breastfeed. The one's like, feed your baby every 2 hours. When they start crying, feed them. Well, small infants don't necessarily cry immediately when they're hungry. Like, yeah, they eventually do. But so I didn't know what I was doing. So I went like hours without feeding this kid. Hello. Where were the nurses and doctors telling a new mom, like, they should be in there like every second? So anyway, we struggled to breastfeed and we leave the hospital. And again, I don't know what to do with this kid. And stupid me, I tell nobody to come to help me at the house for the first 48 hours. I'm like, oh, me and my husband can handle this. We're going to do it all by ourselves, whatever. And it was the worst 48 hours of my life. I just remember bawling my eyes out with my boobs hanging out, just like, I haven't slept in 48 hours. I was like, I don't know how to breastfeed. My milk didn't come in. Like, I just, was doing what I could. I was trying to pump, and then like only this much was coming out. So then I was like Googling like how much breast milk is supposed to come out of here. Like, it's colostrum. So I didn't realize my milk didn't come in. I didn't know what that felt like. Well, when it fucking came in, it was horrible, but I'll get that in a second. So a couple days go by, and thank God I have a boy, and he had a circumcision, and he had to go to the pediatrician on that Saturday. I gave birth on Tuesday, that Saturday. And we get there, and I don't know if my husband was there, he was at work, whatever. So we get there, and he tells us that my baby is starving to death. I'm like, what? He's like, are you breastfeeding? I was like, yeah. He's like, are you doing it like often? I'm like, yeah, every time he cries, I give him some whatever I got in here. And he's like, well, your son is jaundice, and if you don't supplement him immediately, you're gonna have to take him to the hospital, and he's gonna have to have all these blue lights, and they're gonna have to give him formula, and they're gonna have to do all these things. I literally collapsed in the doctor's office. I did a post about this yesterday. I collapsed in the doctor's office. Hysterical. I could not keep myself together. I'm killing my kid. Like, that's what I heard. I'm killing my kid. A new mom at 5 days, and I'm killing my kid. That's what it felt like, to be completely honest with you. I'm killing him. And I said, I failed already. It's not even 5 days. And I failed at the most natural thing that I'm supposed to do. This thing that is, the World Health Organization says I have to breastfeed for 2 years. What do you mean I failed? What do you mean I have to get formula? Like, I don't even have a fucking baby bottle in my house, let alone formula. Like, oh, what? I bought no bottles, no formula. I have nothing. I was like, I'm exclusively breastfeeding for a fucking year, 2 years. Like, I'm going to be like that. Yes, mom. Like, I'm doing it. Hello. I couldn't fucking do it. Collapsed in the doctor's office, trying to put my kid in the car. I couldn't drive home. Hysterical. The kid's crying in the backseat. And I'm like, I can't feel, all I can think of is, I failed. I'm a bad mom. Here we go. I already thought I was a bad mom, right? Now I really am a bad mom. It's been validated. I failed. I'm a horrible person. How could I not breastfeed my child? What the fuck is wrong with me that I can't do the most natural thing that all the other fucking animals on the planet do, and I couldn't fucking do it? I couldn't do it. And the overwhelm was terrible. I had to call my husband. I couldn't leave the parking lot. I couldn't drive home. I told him what happened, sobbing. He comes home, and he's like, okay, how about, I said, you have to hold the baby, and I'll go get the formula. I couldn't go get the formula. I couldn't even leave the house to go get the bottles and the formula. I sat there for about a half an hour with a crying baby, a screaming, hungry baby, right? I couldn't even give him my boobs, right? Because I had no food, like he wasn't eating. So what the frick was I doing? And my husband had to go get the formula in the bottles, and he came back, and I couldn't even bring myself to feed my own son. I just stared at my husband and bawled my eyes out and was like, I cannot believe that this is happening to me, that I am a failure, that I am the worst mother on the planet. Like, who can't feed their child? Me. What the fuck? So, to make a long story short, my husband's trying to help me through it. It's going to be fine. Don't worry about it. The doctor told me I could do both breastfeeding and formula, which I didn't know. Okay. And you can pump, which I didn't know either. The fucking lactation consultant told me I couldn't pump for 3 weeks. And then I had to feed through my boobs. So, F you, you damn lactation consultant who told me that, because in case you didn't know, you could do all 3 at the same fucking time. But that's the point. So, here I finally, after I get formula, he's fed, he's happy, stop crying, he's great. You're welcome. So then as soon as I give the formula, guess what happens? My milk fucking comes in. Are you fucking kidding me? So here I am telling my husband, I'm like, fuck, look at these things. They're like giant balloons. I'm like, holy shit. You can see like my veins and stuff. And I'm like, I can't even give it to him because I can't extract them, right? I don't know what to do with these things. There's milk like splurting out. It hurts. It's terrible. Now I'm engorged. It's so painful. So I'm crying. I'm laughing. I'm crying. I'm laughing. I'm like, oh my God, this is terrible. So I'm online, like nobody tells you what to do when you're engorged. You're supposed to feed the kid. Well, I can't feed my fucking kid. So what do I do with all this breast milk? So now I'm pumping, squeezing it out. It's like a freaking disaster. I got we didn't have cabbage. I had lettuce and like all this shit. So make a long story short, I find out that I have flat nipples. So in case any of you are watching are new moms, the nipple type that you have kind of determines how your breastfeeding is going to go. So if you have what they call bottom cap nipples, which come out, or you have flat nipples, which only come out when you're cold, or you have inverted nipples, it will determine how successful you're at breastfeeding. So lo and behold, I find out I have flat nipples, and it's not very common, I guess, and it's really hard to breastfeed. So I have to buy this. So I'm dead set on breastfeeding, right? Because I'm like, I'm not a failure, type A. I am not a failure. I'm going to fucking do this. If it kills me, and it did, it killed me. So I bought that like prosthesis thing, the nipple shields. I bought the pumps, the things, everything. I learned everything I could about breastfeeding. And hold on one second. It was nice to hear similar situations. I know this is terrible. It's a terrible story. So I'm glad you guys are breastfeeding. It's just, it's unbelievable what we go through, and nobody talks about it. And this is why I didn't know, and why I was terrible at breastfeeding. It was just horrible. So I get all this stuff. I try to breastfeed. I try to give formula, and the whole time I'm like, I'm a horrible mom. I go to La Leche. Fuck La Leche, man. I go there, and I'm like, I need help. I really want to try to breastfeed. I have to. I'm giving formula right now. Oh, what do you mean? You're giving formula? You're killing the kid, and blah blah. I was like, oh, okay, make me feel worse than I already do. So now I leave there, not knowing what to do, right? So they didn't really like tell me exactly like how to be successful at breastfeeding. Like they just tell me that I shouldn't be giving formula and I should be feeding on demand. I don't even know what that means. Feeding on demand, what does that mean? So now I gotta look up what feeding on demand is. So on and so forth. I try to breastfeed and give formula for 3 months, right? And pump and all that stuff. And I'm miserable. If I'm not trying to breastfeed him and him going like this, can't find my boob. Then I buy that thing. It kind of works, doesn't work. Then he's not getting enough. Back and forth. I'm like, this is horrible. Pumping, nothing's coming out. Not enough's coming out. Miserable. I'm crying. I'm like, this is the worst experience I've ever had. So besides this, I'm not sleeping. I'm not sleeping at all. Okay. My husband went back to work after a week, not complaining. And in my mind, I think, oh, I can do this all by myself. My husband has to work. I'll let him sleep and I'll get up in the middle of the night. What a fucking fucked up thing I did right there. Why would I do that to myself? And my husband, not thinking twice about it, is like, okay, well, I have to go to work. Sure, no problem. I'll sleep in the middle of the night. So here I am running. I was probably running on like, let's say 4 hours of sleep for like 2 days at a time. And every third day, I would just have this huge meltdown, okay? If nobody told you, sleep deprivation is a torture mechanism, okay? And I'm actually causing, ooh, that's a really loud thunder. I'm actually causing the sleep deprivation, right? Because I think I'm doing the wifely thing and letting my husband sleep through the night because he's providing for us right now while I'm on maternity leave. And here I am dying of sleep, losing my mind. I mean, I was losing. I would break down and cry. It was like every Wednesday, like clockwork. I break down, I start crying, I call him and I say, you need to leave work, I'm so tired, I don't know what to do, I can't stand this crying baby, I can't handle it, I just want him to shut the fuck up, I can't take it anymore, I don't know what he wants to be changed, he wants to be fed, he wants to eat, he wants this, I don't know what he wants. So, and then by the time I was done with the conversation, I would say, okay, don't come home, I'm fine. Don't come home, I'm fine. Then I'd hang up the phone and I'd cry again and I'd be like, this is the worst experience of my life. Why did I decide to have a child? It's horrible. It's the worst experience ever. I'm never going to sleep again. I'm never going to do anything again. So here we go, this cycle, right? So it's just, so I failed, right, at breastfeeding. Like kind of sort of like a factor. Oh my god, just got so scared. I don't know if you can hear the thunder. So I failed, and then I have sleep deprivation, right? Because when am I going to sleep? Because my choice was that I don't sleep, right? So it's again a second one. I'm home by myself. A third one. I don't have anyone to help me. Okay, I thought that, you know, my parents would show up. I thought my friends would show up. I thought my family members would show up, and nobody showed up to help. So now I'm in the house all by myself with my crazy thoughts, right, that I have had since I was pregnant, sitting in this like fucked up world of just like shit in my brain. And then I'm feeling sorry for myself and feeling lonely, that no one loves me, no one cares about me, nobody understands what I'm going through. And I'm here in this house all by myself. And I don't want to call anyone because I don't want to inconvenience them. And I don't even know what I need. I don't know what I want. My house is a wreck. I mean, there's shit everywhere. The laundry's piled up, dishes everywhere. And I have this screaming, crying baby. I'm like, I don't even know what to do here. All alone. I felt so alone. And then my wonderful husband, who now looking back did way more than I put him credit for. But he would come home from work like pretty late and he would cook dinner, like thinking that was helpful, right? And I just wanted to be like, take this child away from me, please. So as time went on, what ended up happening was I started feeling like he wasn't doing enough, right? He wasn't supporting me the way I wanted. Like I started hating him for going to work. I was like, you go to work, you get to eat with two hands. Like every time we eat dinner, I have to hold the baby and make sure I'm feeding him, and you get to eat and you get to take a break and you get to have adult conversation. And I was like, I hate you for this. I hate the fact that you have no boobs, that you do not have to do all of this. I was like, you are the worst person on the planet. And he's like, what do you mean? I go to work, I help provide, I cook dinner, I clean up, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, but you're not doing anything else. And he was. But at that point in time, I couldn't see it because I didn't even know what I needed help with. I didn't even know what I needed support with. I was so lost, so confused that it was sickening. Like, I mean, I forgot to mention that's from the day that my son was born till probably like 6 months down the road, I had this like palpitation in my heart. So I don't know if you guys ever experienced this, but it's kind of like a mild panic attack, but constantly. And just like, it just like kept going. And I was like, oh my God, this is absolutely horrible. So for like 6 months, I was like basically having mini panic attacks, like one right after the other, every single second of the day. So besides that, I was having mini panic attacks, sleep deprived, can't breastfeed, feeling like I'm doing this all by myself. No one's showing up at my house to help me because I'm not calling anyone. So in my brain, I'm thinking no one loves or cares about me and that they don't want to help me at all. And in hindsight, I never really called anyone to help. Or if I did, like they weren't around to help, or I didn't even know what to tell them to do. And then when I finally did call someone, I was like, oh, why don't you come over and see with the baby? And then what do? I'd have to clean the house. I'd have to get the wine out. I'd have to get the food out and set up. So it was like I was entertaining. Like instead of being like, can you come over and clean my house for me? Can you come over and watch the baby so I can nap? I was like entertaining. So here I am in my mind reaching out for someone to help me, but in reality I was telling them, oh, why don't you come over and hang out, not come over and help. So then when they would leave, I felt like I wasn't being supported, like nobody was helping me, nobody was doing anything, going at it all alone, like, you know, again, up all night trying to do all this breastfeeding stuff. So I'm exhausted just talking about it. So you can easily see how a new mother or any mother can get so overwhelmed so quickly, and how this spiraled out of control. And so as the weeks went on and the months went on, what ended up happening was that I started hating other moms. I would look on social media and be like, these fucking bitches, like, how do they have it all together? Why did not one of them tell me that motherhood fucking sucks? Why did they not tell me that it was gonna be so fucking hard? Why was no one talking about how difficult it was? Why was no one ever saying anything about anything bad? The only thing that I ever heard, and I worked at a hospital with, a rehab center with a lot of moms who were pregnant or had lots of kids at the time, and no one ever told me that breastfeeding was extremely difficult. No one told me that you need education and support to be successful at breastfeeding. No one told me that it's not all rainbows and butterflies, that it's really difficult in the beginning and even after. No one said that, the help might not come. You better figure out who's going to help you after the fact because you're going to need it or pay for it. Nobody said that sleep deprivation was going to kill me and literally drive me to like hallucinations and depression and anxiety. No one fucking said that. And so here I am now, like, I hate my husband now. I hate myself and I hate everyone around me and all the moms out there. I'm laughing because it sounds horrible, but it was the fucking truth. And it consumed me. And so over this time, I just, started researching more stuff about like, why is no one talking about this? Where can I get information? Where can I get help? How can I get support? What's wrong with me? Besides the fact that I was having these intense fucking rages, okay? I think that at one point in my life, I might have had a slight anger problem, but over the years, I've worked on myself and I didn't have that. But I've never experienced anything like this, which I'm sure some of you can relate, and other ones you probably can't. Two things happen when a baby cries for most women. Either one, you start crying yourself because you are so sad that this person's crying and you don't know what to do. Or the second one is you go into this like rage and you're like, oh, shut the fuck up. It was like this. It was like an hour about experience. I can't explain it. I'm so glad that you're resonating with this, Amber. So it was like a rage of, that's the only way I can explain it. It was like a wave. I like felt it coming on, like it would be in different scenarios, but most of the time when I was sleep deprived and he was crying a lot. And it would come over me and it would be like I was ready to like strangle my own child. Like I was ready to be like, that's the only way I can explain it. And I would like throw stuff, punch the pillows. Like I would do everything and anything to not like put my hands on my son. And it would get so bad that he would be next to me and I'd be like just banging on the bed, just like, shut up. Why are you crying? Now, I know I sound like a crazy person, but for those of you who have experienced this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So for the moms I've worked with, some of them don't ever experience this extreme rage. They just experience, what's the word? Sadness. Like they're helpless, like a victim. Like they cannot take care of their own baby. Like they don't know how to help them. They actually are like empathizing with them. It's almost like they're feeling what they're feeling. So it's two different feelings. It's really bizarre. And nobody told me about that. I'm just putting it out there. What the fuck is this rage thing, right? And this rage thing was unbearable. Like it was so scary. I was afraid of myself. Because it was almost like an outer body experience. It was like I jumped from my body and like a doppelganger like came right in and started like doing crazy shit and yelling and screaming. And I was like, oh my God, is this really happening? Like, wow, that person's really nuts. And then when it was done, it was over. The doppelganger left and I came back into my body and broke down and crying and was like, I'm the worst mom on the planet. Who gets mad at a crying child? Who gets mad at them? They don't know anything. And the tears would just start flowing. And I just felt so guilty. Whatever I said, whatever I did, whatever I threw, whatever happened. I mean, the guilt was unbearable. And then, of course, when I would be crying, when I'd have this fit of rage or this fit of like, craziness from sleep deprivation, I felt hopeless. I felt like this would never get better. That I would never be able to do anything. I would never feel like myself. And I would sit there and say, like, who is this person? Who is this? I don't know this person. If you guys know me outside of here, which a lot of you are watching do, like, I'm a really happy person, like, almost like annoyingly happy. Like, how could I get to this point where I'm crying every day, that inside hurts, that this person that I've become is someone I don't even recognize. Like, the person who screams at her husband, nags all the time, doesn't want to have sex, like, treats children like assholes. Like, I became that person that I hated out in the world. Like, I was like, oh, I'm never going to be like that mom. I'm never going to yell at my kids. I won't hit my kids. I won't do this. No screen time, like, whatever. I became that person. And it broke me. It broke me down to my core, to the point where I seriously thought that my son would be better off without me, that somebody else could take better care of him, that I wasn't worthy to have him as a son, that I wasn't going to be able to provide for him like he should be provided for, that I would never become that mom that, enjoys motherhood and, always has the snacks and takes you to Disney World and, likes to walk outside. Like, I was never going to be that person. Like, and then just the mere fact that I just felt like a bad mom and that I would never be good enough for him. And I just wanted to disappear, like, leave it. It almost felt like if I just left, things would be better, right? Things would be so much better. He would be better off without me. I'm losing my mind. I'm a crazy person. I don't know what to do anymore. And that consumed me, and it consumed me so much that P.S. I forgot to tell you that I also had really intrusive thoughts. So for those of you who don't know what intrusive thoughts are, it's basically like if you are holding a baby and you're like, okay, what would happen if I, like, suffocated the kid? What? What would happen if you're driving the car? What would happen if I just, like, ran this car into the pole and we both died? Like, what would happen? Okay, you're standing at the top of the stairs, you're holding a child, and you're like, what happens if I just, like, drop him down there? Okay, what the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? So not only am I having all these other fucking problems, I'm having these crazy thoughts, right? These crazy fucking thoughts. And I'm like, I'm really fucking losing it. Well, this is a really big thing that people have postpartum. 90% of women experience these intrusive thoughts. It's just a matter of how long they are. And a quick tidbit, the reason you're having your thoughts is because your brain is on high alert, looking for danger. So it's not that you're actually going to act on these thoughts. It's actually that you're trying to figure out how to prevent them, and that this is something that could happen. So just so you feel better. So, but at the time, I didn't know what these fucking thoughts were. I thought it was crazy. Then I had just weird thoughts. I mean, I can't even, I don't even want to say them out loud. Like, that's how weird they were. And a lot of it just stemmed from, like, not hurting my child, but, like, what if something happened to them? Or what if I died? Or, like, what if I committed suicide? The weird shit. And that's just really fucking scary. It's really fucking scary. Okay? So you're sleep deprived, you're failing at everything, you feel like you're a terrible person, and now you have these crazy thoughts. Like, what the fuck's going on? So, make a long story short, two instances happened that I will share with you, which I'm not comfortable sharing, but I'm going to, because I think it's important that you know. One instance, my husband came home from work and I was trying to explain to him what I was going through. That's another thing. You think people don't understand you, because a lot of people don't, because a lot of people are going to watch this, are going to write comments that you're a crazy person, you're an abuser, you're this, you're that. And the truth is I'm none of those things. It's just, this is what happens when you have a perinatal mood disorder. This is why people don't know. So I'm trying to explain to him what I'm going through. And he's like, oh, you're just hormonal. It's fine. Everything will be all right. And God rest his friggin' soul. God bless his friggin' soul for trying to make me feel better. But the problem was, nobody was hearing me. I was like, I'm going crazy and I don't know what to do. Someone please fucking help me. And I got so upset and I was like, I just want to die. I said, I can't explain it to you. I'm like, I just want to disappear. I just want to die. And he's like, oh no, you can't possibly want to die. You're not suicidal. You're not depressed. You're not anxious. I'm like, something is very wrong. And I ran towards the window and I literally, like, I wouldn't say try to jump out of the window, but like, I like pushed my hand through the window and like shattered the window. My whole hand got like all screwed up. And my husband's like, oh my God, something is very wrong. So obviously he's consoling me. He's telling me everything's going to be okay. We're going to figure this out, whatever. So pull myself together. I start doing tons of research, right? On like, what the heck is postpartum depression? Do I have that? Is this something that's happening? Why are new moms struggling? What can I do to not let them struggle? So I like literally immersed myself in this. I wrote a book. Like, that's how intense it got. I just started journaling. I started trying to figure out, how the hell am I going to get out of this hole? How am I going to get out of this hole? That was one day that I said, something is very wrong. I need to fix this. So I started out on a journey trying to figure out, how the frick am I going to fix this? What am I going to do? So I tried to tell myself that I was going to get through this by myself, right? Raise your hand if you tried to do that. Because I've tried to do it all by myself. And you know what? Granted, I think that I did. But that was not a good thing. That was not a good thing. I really thought I was going to go at it alone. I was like, oh, I can do this. I can handle this. Well, what you don't realize is that you're so far in the hole at this point that you can't get out by yourself. You need somebody to give you a hand and pick you up, and then you can get out, right? But I was so far in the hole, I'm like, I got this. I can handle this. It's just postpartum depression, anxiety, no problem. I can handle this. I handle a lot of fucking shit in my life. I quit drugs. I quit smoking. There's a million different things that I did in my life. I was like, I can do this too. Yeah, it's like my I can story. Yeah, hell yeah, I got this. All gung-ho. Do the meditations, do the gratitude journaling, look up all the herbal remedies, look up all the stuff, right? Listen to the inspiration, the motivational, read some stories, join some online sports groups, like keep going, whatever. Dab a little bit here, dab a little bit there. This kind of worked, that kind of worked, didn't work, whatever. Get to the point, here we go again. It was almost like it was like another wave, right? So here I am thinking, I'm like getting out, and then I crash again, right? Same thing. It was like every 3 days. Like clockwork. And to truncate my story a little bit here for you guys, is that I got to the point where I had gone into my son's room, and that rage that I was talking about came over, and I couldn't control myself. And, I picked up my son and was like, that's it. I've had it. And I sat down on the floor with him, and I just cried, and I was like, something is very wrong with me. I have to fix this. And I just like prayed. I was like, dear God, please don't let me ever have this rage fit again. Please don't let me be this bad mom. Please, God. And I just remember sitting there with him crying and saying, I can't live like this. I can't live like this. I don't want to live like this anymore. I want to be a good mom. Like, I want to be happy. I want to enjoy motherhood. I want to enjoy my life. I want to experience life how it should be. And for me, that was the driving force that led me to recover. It was this moment of complete solitude with my son. And what I realized was that I had to get help, or I had to figure out how to help myself so that I could be the best version of myself for my son. Why? Because I want my son to have a wonderful life. Why is that? Why is that important to me? It's important for me because I want him to grow up and live a wonderful life and have wonderful beliefs about the world and have these wonderful thoughts about himself. And I don't want him to ever feel like this. And if he sees me like this every day for the rest of his life, he's going to wonder why mom is so unhappy. And so for me, this was like a really big moment that my why was so important to me. Why did I need to get out of this hole? This whole time I was dabbling here in meditation, dabbling in gratitude, law of attraction, motivational stuff, essential oils. I was dabbling. I just kept dabbling. Nothing was working. I was just trying in and out. And this day was the day that was it. I had enough of this shit. I don't want to be fucking miserable anymore. I don't want to have this rage. I don't want to feel this terrible feeling anymore. And from that day forward, I took every single thing in me to pull myself out of that hole. Every fucking thing I had. It was so hard, but in the end, it was so worth it. Every day I took minute by minute, hour by hour. Every day I tried something. I just tried something. It was either I laughed at a video, I played with my son, I went to a support group, I talked to a new mom, I shared my story, I tried a new herbal supplement. Every day I tried to do something. And part of my story I don't want to leave out so that you know is that I was so afraid of myself and like what I could have been capable of, or all the thoughts that were going in my mind. And I was so ashamed that I was feeling this way that I didn't want to tell anybody. I didn't want to tell anybody. I was so afraid of what they were going to think of me, of what they were going to say, of how they were going to talk about me, and if they were going to call the police. I was so afraid to go to the doctors and tell them that I was losing my mind, because I've heard of stories where doctors took their babies away from them. I would never hurt my kid. I would never really slit my wrist. But it felt so overwhelming that if I went to the doctor and told them what I was going through, they were going to think I was nuts and put me in a mental institution. And then I would be away from my son, and I couldn't handle that. So I didn't go seek help. And I do not suggest you do that. I suggest you go get help as soon as humanly possible and tell someone, tell a doctor, tell a friend, tell a therapist, coach, whatever. I was so afraid. So I did it all by myself, and it was such a lonely, exhausting journey. Researching hours, listening to podcasts, reading books, trying to immerse myself in all things of how am I going to heal from this? How am I going to get out of this? I'm all by myself. There's nobody here to help me. How am I going to do this? So I take one step at a time, 1 second at a time. I try this, I try that. And each day it got a little easier, it got a little better. And I started to feel a little better, right? The meditation helped a little bit. The gratitude journaling helped a little bit. The supplements helped a lot, actually. My nutrition helped a lot. The motivational speeches that I was listening to, like Dr. Wayne Dyer, Tony Robbins, Dr. Shefali, people who were trying to help others have a good life, because I knew I want to have a good life. So where do you go if you want to have a good life? Where do you want to go if you want to be happy, if you want to feel fulfilled and successful, right? Self-help books. So I think I probably read 150 self-help books, like listened to 1,000 hours of motivational speeches and how to, use the law of attraction, how to use goal setting, how to, focus on just the positive. I listened to so many things I can't even tell you. And each thing that I did helped me, even if it was this much, even if I listened to an hour seminar or I went to a 4-hour workshop and it only helped me this much, each thing helped me to come out of the hole. So where in the beginning I thought that nothing was working, that it was just all spinning and whatever, I want to let you know that no matter what you choose to do to help you get out of the hole, whether it's you're listening to this video, you listen to another one, you read a book, you talk to another mom, you join a support group, you talk to your doctor, you get on medication, whatever it is, each of those things is going to get you in the right direction, right? And if it doesn't get you the straight direction, it might get you a little weebly wobbly, but you'll get there. But don't give up. Okay, the most important thing that I learned from my journey so far is that you need to know where you are right now, which some of you are definitely resonating because you're posting. Where you are right now. Okay, that's the most important thing. Write down all the things where you are right now. Where do you want to go? What do you want your life to look like? Do you want to wake up happy every day? Do you want to have this amazing bond with your baby? Because I did, and I didn't have that. Right? So I wanted that. I wanted that amazing bond with my son. I wanted to feel like every time I looked at him, I wanted to be like, oh, I just want to squeeze your face. And I didn't feel like that. I didn't even want to hold him. You have to figure out what you want. Do you want to go back to work? Do you want to stay home? What is it that you're looking for? What kind of help do you want? Do you want a spiritual coach, a mentor? Do you want a therapist? Do you want a counselor? Do you want medication? Do you want a trusted friend? What kind of help do you want? Do you want a nanny? What do you want a cleaner? What do you want? What do you want to feel like? Start focusing on the feeling of what it feels like to be a good mom. I wanted to feel like a good mom, like I was doing the right things. What were the right things? I wanted to be calm. I wanted to be patient. I didn't want to scream. I wanted to be able to react calmly. I wanted to instill as many positive beliefs about himself into him. So I had this vision of who I wanted to be. So if you're not sure what's going on right now or what you want, or you're spinning in circles, my first suggestion is you think about where you want to go. What does the ultimate motherhood experience look like for you? And start writing that down. What are these magical things that you want? You want to breastfeed for 5 years? Great. How are you going to do that, right? So I want you to figure out what do you want out of motherhood. I wanted a strong bond. I wanted to feel energized. I wanted to freaking sleep. I wanted real support and to know where that support was coming from every day. I wanted self-care time. I wanted so much time to myself. I wanted to go back to work. I wanted to have a career. I wanted to feel like I had a purpose other than being someone's mom or someone's wife. Like, I wanted to be me. I wanted to feel like I was on top of the world. Like, in my mind, I wanted to feel like I could have everything, right? I wanted to be able to be there for my son when I needed. So figure out where you want to go. And then start writing down how are you going to get there, right? So how are you going to get from where you are right now, which is probably what I was talking about, to where you want to go, right? Which is this vision in your head. How are you going to get there? How, right? Okay. And the second one is, why is it important? So where you are, where you want to go. And then the last two are why it's important and how you're going to get there. So for you to make a change like I did, you need a driving force. You need something that day where you say, enough is a fucking enough. I am fucking doing this. I'm getting out of this hole. If it kills me, I'm getting out of this hole because I don't want to stay here anymore. So you need that driving force. But why is it important for you to heal? Why is it important to you? I can't tell you why. I can just tell you, for me, I needed my son to one day see that I could do this, that I was strong enough to do this. And I wanted to be able to be I wouldn't say the perfect mom, but the mom that instills positive beliefs in someone, that encourages them, that that loves them, that is there for them, that is actually present, that's not just gift giving, that's not just, I'll show up when I can or give you money here. No, that's there. I wanted to be his safe place. I wanted him to grow up, and I want him to be able to come to me and tell me anything. I couldn't do that if I was stuck in this fucking shithole of a hole. I couldn't do that. So I needed to have a why this was important, because I want him to change the generational patterns of the grandparents and parents before me. I want us to be happy and fulfilled and feel really good. That is important to me. I wanted to be there for my son. So figure out your why, and that's going to take you where you want to go. The last one on the list, how are you going to get there? There's a million ways you can get there. And it seems overwhelming. It seems unbearable, right? How are you going to get there? How the fuck are you going to get there? That's how I felt. How was I going to get more sleep? How was I going to get more time for myself? How was I going to get help? How was I going to find time to heal? How was I going to find time to do this? How was I going to do this? If you have a big enough reason why you want to heal, why you want to get out of this hole, you will figure out how to get there. You will make the time, you will find the money, and you will find the energy to do it. So focus on your why. Start writing down. Say you have to think of 10 or 20 things of how you're going to get there. So let's think of how you're going to get there. You could talk to a doctor, you could talk to a therapist, you can go to a coach, you can go to a support group. You can join a course online for motivation, right? You can learn how to heal naturally. You can start researching things, books, podcasts, reading people's stories, going to workshops, going to events. There's so many things that you can do to help you get out of the hole. So once you write all the things that you can think of, there's herbal remedies, there's you can use meditation, you can use emotional freedom technique. There's so many ways that you can heal right now. So start writing down them, how are you going to get there? What are all the hows? And then I just want you today to just pick 3 of those things, right? Pick 3 of those things that you can start taking action on today. So if that means you call me and you tell me what's going on, you tell your mom what's going on, you tell them how you feel, You take one step, you tell your husband about these crazy thoughts that you're having. Whatever it is, I want you to take 3 action steps today. Because what I did and what worked for me was I took 3 action steps every single day. Whether I felt like I was okay to take them or not, I did them anyway. Whether I was overwhelmed, I was crying, I was having a panic attack, whatever it was, I took 3 steps every single day. And I swear to you, it took me so far out of the hole that my life is better than I could have ever imagined. So I want you to know that each 3 of those steps is going to help you recover. Each 3 of those steps that you just take each day, it could be so small. It doesn't matter what it is. If you take them each day you're going to feel a little better. Each day you're going to feel the day's going to be a little brighter. Each day you're going to start to see out of this dark hole, you're going to start to see the light, right? And every single day that you take these 3 steps, I swear to you, you will come out of that hole and you will survive. And then because you survived, you're going to be like me and you're going to share your story and you're going to tell others how you did it. And you're going to say, this works and that doesn't. Try this. That's even better. Let me help you. I understand you. I know what you're going through. You're going to share your story to other people. So why do you do that? Because why I do it is so that I can help you, because I wish there was someone there to help me. Someone there to inspire me, to motivate me, to take action, to know that this is possible, to know that there's so much success on the other side, that you don't just have to survive from perinatal mood disorder. You can fucking thrive. You can have it all. I swear to you. Because you're taking these 3 steps each day, because you're moving in the right direction, because you begin to heal, what happens is your story helps heal others. And then you get even more inspired to do some more personal growth. But if you stay where I was, and maybe where you are right now, you're never going to get any better. And I want so badly for you to feel great. I want you so badly to feel great the way I wanted to feel great. So please, even if you just take 1 action step today, you gotta, your body, physiologically, it needs growth, right? Because where you're stuck right now, a lot of it has to do with not feeling purposeful, not feeling fulfilled, happy, successful. A lot of different things are happening right now. So the more you take those action steps, the more purposeful you're gonna feel, the more fulfilled you're gonna feel, the more successful you're gonna feel. And because your body needs growth, right? Your brain needs growth, it needs to expand. The better you do each day, the more momentum you're going to get. That's going to propel you forward. The more you're going to get there. The more you're going to propel yourself in the right direction, because you're seeing progress. You might not see progress right away, but you're going to start seeing it. And each day you take those action steps. Each day you take it 3 steps at a time. The more momentum you're going to get built, right? The car doesn't just burst off, right? Things don't just happen right away. You're not just going to heal tomorrow. It takes work. It takes effort. The car's got to gear up. All those gears have to move. The tires have to move. You have to start speeding up, and then you go to the next gear, and then the next gear, and then next gear. So if you understand what I'm saying, you're going to keep moving forward. You're going to keep propelling, and I promise you, you're going to come out on top. So this is my story, guys. I'm 1 in 5. My name is Danielle Kottis, and I am a mom coach. I coach moms how to heal from postpartum depression and anxiety like I did. And I hope that you share this story with as many people as you can. So please hit the share button. If this helped you or you thought it was a good story, hit the heart button. Share it with your friends. Share it in your mom group. Please like me on Instagram, The Unfamiliar Mom. Please like me on Facebook, The Unfamiliar Mom. And subscribe to my YouTube channel, Danielle Kottis. Thank you all so much. I'm sending you so much love, Mama. And I promise you, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. It's just within your reach. Just go for it. Thank you all so much.